When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
What's up, everybody? You are now listening to the Success Playbook Podcast, where we talk about pop culture, life and career success, and of course, we're going to talk about who got dunked on the night before. I'm your host, Chanel S. Reynolds, and I've been in the sports industry for several years. My goal is to take what I've learned from years of dominating the sports industry as a Black woman to help my listeners defy the odds and level up in life and career. Now, let's dig into this week's episode.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Chanel S. Reynolds, y'all. I am so excited because tomorrow is a federal holiday. Tomorrow is a day where we celebrate one of the Lord's greatest gifts to the world actually was born. So it's my birthday tomorrow. So look, thank y'all for rocking out with me. Thank y'all for rocking out with your girl. This episode is designed to kind of take a walk down memory lane. I'm going to go through some of the amazing guests that we had over the past year. And if you have a chance, I would love for you to go back and listen to them. So up first, our first guest. First of all, let me go back and say, y'all, this past year has been truly a dream. Thank you to Revolt. Thank you to the Revolt Podcast Network. I had no idea that my podcast was going to pivot from being a show where it's mainly my voice to being a show where I get to advance the platforms of other people who are working in this industry, primarily Black people, which is something I'm really passionate about, is uplifting the historically marginalized voices that's in this industry. So this has given me the perfect platform to do that. So look, it has been an amazing journey. First up is Nick B. So, y'all, we had Nick B. She's a fitness influencer. She came in and rocked the house with some statistics, with her amazing personality. So go back and listen to that. Then after that, I had Sonia Richards-Ross, y'all. This was like my first I hate to use the word celebrity, but this is the first person that I got to interview that was on a national TV show every week. You know, she was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, very high profile. So it was amazing having her on my podcast. Again, I would have never dreamed I would be able to do something like that. So really loved the episode of Sonia Richards-Ross. Then we kind of pivoted and I was on the red carpet at the ESPYs. So that was a very, very monumental moment for me. Again, I got interviews from Lil Rel, the comedian. I got to tell him about some amazing things that, you know, me and my family really enjoyed his show. So I got to share that with him. I talked to Monica McNutt for the first time on the red carpet. Then she circled back and came on the show. Talked to WNBA legend Angel McCoughtry, who actually just went viral on the Shade Room. So that was really dope. So it was really cool to be on the red carpet. Again, this was such a monumental year, but y'all, we're going to keep it going because it's going to be a short episode. Okay. And then after that, I had the Olympian and motivational speaker, Priscilla Loomis. I met Priscilla on a panel. We were doing a panel together. Her energy was amazing. She was absolutely wonderful. So I had her on the podcast and she came and did her amazing thing. So that was such a dope episode. Who else did I have? Jason Avile. So it was August. It was Black Entrepreneurs Month, Black Business Month. So I really wanted to highlight a Black business who also used the lane of sport, kind of yoga, who used the lane of sport to leverage their platform and to give back to the community. So I felt that was a great connection. So it was real great having my friend Jason Aviles on the show. Then I, of course, showed a preview of my TED Talk at the University of South Africa. That was fun. So it's been an amazing year. Then I came back and did some more interviews. And we had Cameron Kinley, who was a NFL cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cameron actually went viral several times after being denied going to the NFL to serve for the country. And then after, you know, we went on social media and fought for him, eventually he was allowed to go and play in the NFL. So that was such a dope story that I got to highlight. Again, really cool opportunities here. And then I had my good friend and colleague at that time, Coach Jennifer King. She's the assistant running backs coach or she was the assistant running backs coach at the Washington Commanders. So she kind of talked about her journey from where she started to being with the Commanders, and now she's doing big things at the Chicago Bears. So big shout out to Coach King. Always shows love when I see her. Then we had the amazing Monica McNutt, who she also has been going viral these past several weeks. So she has really been taking the world of basketball by storm, by way of ESPN, going viral on the Shade Room. Y'all listen, I have never seen the man of God, Stephen A. Smith, be speechless. But Monica McNutt had that man of God speechless, okay? So it's so good to see her. She's already been dope, but it's just so good to see her just tap into a whole new level of dopeness. So Monica McNutt was such a gem when she came on the show. And then, what else did we have? I highlighted my experience at Revolt World. So that was such a dope opportunity to be on the panel. So I talked about that during one episode. And then I had a really big episode in October when I had the legend, Miss Jamel Hill, come on the show, and it was an 82-minute episode. Golly. But we talk about all things of breaking barriers, leaving Sports Center, defining success, and then also finding love, because, you know, I just love talking to other professional women who have navigated, you know, the professional world, as well as their love lives, right? Because that's something that, you know, that's important to me as well. So I love hearing those stories. So she shared it with me. I love how I kind of like pivoted into it, because I first asked her, I said, can I get in your business? And she was like, go ahead and ask. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna ask you about your love life. And she was just so open, and it was a dope interview. So I would actually advise you all to watch that on YouTube, because the visuals are top tier. Then we moved on, and I had Miss Basketball do a small segment on the show, so that was really cool. Had Malcolm Lemons, who was a former pro athlete. He actually played basketball overseas. He's now an entrepreneur and author, so he came through and dropped gems. I had Lois Cook, who is a woman in football, right? So she plays tackle football for the DC Divas, and she's also the vice president of the team in the front office. So she's doing really big things. Big shout out to Lois Cook. She has a great social media platform, so definitely somebody you should follow. But y'all, the year has been a year, okay? The year has been a year. But moving on, so I had my good friend, I call her my cousin. That's my sports cousin. We've really matriculated throughout this industry together. We were in group sales together. We did DE&I together, and now she's pivoting into some things on the executive level for a soccer team, the Houston Dynamo and Houston Dash. My girl, my good friend, Jasmine James, I had her on the show, y'all. Jasmine's interview was the most watched episode ever on YouTube. And it was really like, I'm not surprised, because that's my girl. She's dope. But it surpassed some of those names that I talked about in the beginning, those you know, quote unquote celebrity names. So Jasmine came in and she dropped gems. And let me tell you what she also did. Jasmine came in and gave her contact information. So if you listen to the podcast, she legit gave her email and told people to reach out to her. Like, who does that? Who does that? But that just proves how dope she is and how willing she is to help. So big shout out to my cousin Jasmine. And then we have my good friend, somebody who is near and dear to my heart. We went to Delaware State University together. And, you know, we've continued our friendship. We've prayed for one another. We've encouraged one another. Agent Mike Desane. So he's an NFL agent. And we'll actually be collaborating to do some big things in the fall, because he's now a professor at I want to say NYU, but it's the Rock Nation School of Sports. So he's a professor. So I'll be going up to New York to address his class in August. I'm really excited about that. But I had him on my podcast, and he talks about all things about being an agent. We talk about our faith, because that's something that's important to both of us. And he's legit. He's that guy. Then I had the amazing Jaya Thomas on the show. Jaya is a sports and entertainment lawyer. She's also the founder of Diverse Representation, and she's also the founder of National Black Women in Sports Day, which is July 7th. So make sure you mark your calendars and celebrate and send flowers to your favorite Black woman in sports that day. So I had her on the show, and she just crushed it. It's always a pleasure seeing her and running into her. She's amazing. Then I had Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor was a great episode. She talks about her first internship, her top career advice, some career moves, that one time where she took an L. So it was such a great interview. And then she also talked about, like, hey, if you feel like you're not being celebrated in this area, you need to go to a different table. So we covered all those things in that interview. So it was such a dope episode. Pivoting to, I had one of my good friends, John Ferguson, on the call. John Ferguson is the Chief Human Resources Officer at NASCAR. So he came on the podcast. He talked about his background, y'all. I had no idea that John Ferguson got his start in DC working at the concession stand at FedEx Field. Like, what? And then fast forward, now he's the Chief HR Officer at NASCAR. You cannot tell me that hard work and favor and all the things is not real. When you listen to John's story, you are going to be encouraged. And he's also, being the head of HR, he knows what people are looking for when they're hiring. So he gave some amazing career tips, y'all. It was so dope. Such a dope opportunity. What else? Who else did I have on? I had my good friend Matt Burnt from Indeed.com. So we kind of ventured out from some of those sports names, and I went to Indeed. Why? Because my podcast is dedicated to people who may be looking for a career in sports, right? So why not talk to the career person at its best, right? Why not talk to the career navigation coach? So I talked to Indeed. They had me doing some things for them this year. I had him come on my show. It was such a great relationship that was developed over this past year. So big shout out to Matt Burnt and the Indeed.com team. Then I had Coach Sydney Carter, or Coach Sid, as I like to call it now. If you're not familiar with the name, I know you're familiar with the pants. So Coach Sydney Carter went viral for wearing pink pants as a coach to one of the basketball games. It was a situation that caused her name to be blown in the wind, and everybody and their mama was reaching out to her, sending support, commenting. I saw Nicki Minaj comment and say, "Keep going, queen," or something like that. So she really gained a following by honestly just showing up authentically as herself, right? No matter what the backlash said, no matter what the naysayers said, she showed up as herself. So she is a coach in women's basketball at the University of Texas, and she's just killing it. She's developing her girls into amazing young women, and she's coaching them on the court as well as coaching them in life while looking flawless in doing so. So she was definitely one guest that I really connected with because she was just absolutely amazing. So those are some of the highlighting episodes that I had this past year, y'all. Again, it has been a year. It has been a year. Thank you for rocking out with your girl. If you don't follow me on social media, make sure you do, at Chanel S. Reynolds on all platforms. Reach out, wish me a happy birthday. Let me know that you listen to the show. It's always encouraging running into people who actually listen to the show. It really is dope. One other thing I want to mention. So tomorrow I'm going to be at HBCU Connect in Washington, D.C., hosting a live podcast, not for the Success Playbook, but for my other podcast that I do with my twin sister, the Double Dose Podcast. So we'll be doing a live show at Nats Park right here in Washington, D.C. So I'm really excited to do that. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. One last announcement. So for some of you who are familiar with the All-Star Accelerator, which is my career navigation platform designed to help individuals become a better and marketable candidate when it comes to landing their first job in the sports industry. So it is a 6-week course program. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it live. It's going to be 1 hour, so a power hour, and it's only going to be $34 in celebration of my birthday. So get on it. Make sure y'all get on it. And yeah, thank y'all for rocking with your girl. See ya.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
This is ludicrous.
but that won't fix your home. that will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.